Two. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Currency is Our Currency, where I'm your hostess with the mostest, with Jamila Alve is a co-hostess, and Odin Constellation in the building, the astrologer. Welcome. And with that said, we're going to be going into some business concerning what happened last year according to the astrology of the of it all, and actual events that coincide. So with that said,
let's kick it off. Go ahead, Odin.
Let's kick it off. So today we're going to be looking at basically what took place last year when we started seeing the system falling and everything crumbling down. We had riots, and we had mainly, this is going to be showing you things that took place astrologically when events was occurring around the pandemic and the lockdowns. So this page that's up right here on the screen is just some dates that I want to go over. We're not going to do all of them. I have the key ones written down. So this first one is you see it says January 20th. You know, this was when as soon as we got into 2020. And the major conjunction that took place during this year was the Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn conjunction in Capricorn. And this year in 2021, we had that big Jupiter Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. So this is a whole different type of energy this year. But last year it was in Capricorn. So Capricorn deals with, structure, it deals with authority, it deals with government figures. So that was the changing and the depth of the structure, because we had Pluto, and that was also boundaries being put on the people. So if you look here, it says the U.S. reports its first case, 35-year-old man. And then if you scroll down, that's January 20th. So scroll down to February 7th.
January 20th of 2021 or 2020?
No. This is all going to be 2020. This is all, everything that we're going over took place in 2020.
Okay, so the boundaries, you're talking about restrictions.
You said February what?
Right. We're gonna look at how I'll go to February 7th. But what we're looking at is alignments that took place during these key dates. So I'm gonna show you how the alignments affected the events, or mirrors the events.
And can we mention that we are in Mercury retrograde right now?
Yes, we are in Mercury retrograde, guys. So communication is a little messed up. Technology's all over the place. We had some technical difficulties, so don't. And today's a new moon in Aquarius, so happy new moon in
Aquarius, which means plant your seeds, ladies.
That's right.
Yes.
Right, so here we are.
Spiritually,
here we are, guys. We got February 7th.
Manifest.
This one says the Wuhan doctor whistleblower. So everybody, I don't know if you guys remember that took place when they had that whistleblower come out. There was a Wuhan doctor saying how they were going to come out with some disease, and then he ended up getting arrested or apprehended by authorities, and then they said he died from coronavirus, which people didn't believe. I don't know if you. I remember that one. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I remember.
I remember that. I remember him.
Right. So now let's go to February 29th.
February 29th, 2020.
Right.
Yes,
so this is basically February 29th through March 19th, and this is nearly all U.S. states declare a state of emergency. Now, after that, we're going to go look at March 9th. Go to March, which is Italy placed all 60 million residents in lockdown. Now we're going to go to March 11th.
I remember that.
The WHO.
The World Health, the WHO declared the outbreak a pandemic. And that's also when Trump, and that's the same day Trump also bans travel from 26 European countries. March 21st.
Well, I'm scrolling and it ain't moving. Bear with me.
Just work with it. Work with it. All right, there you go. Kind of skipped it. That was the 21st. Yeah.
21st, 2020.
And this is Italy saw the peak of its first wave. 6,557 new cases of COVID. And then we're going to go to March 23rd, which is right after that. New York City became the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in the United States.
No coincidence there.
New York City.
And then we're going to go to March 30th.
There we go.
March. Iran recorded 3,160. Wait,
sorry,
you
it
disappeared on me.
moved. Yeah, it caught up with me.
Yeah. So what is that? March 30th. Yeah.
There we go.
Iran recorded 3,186 new daily cases, the peak of its first wave. Then we're gonna go to the 31st. More than 1/3 of humanity was under some form of lockdown. So that was when everybody was under a lockdown, basically. And then the next one, which is the last alignment, will be May 25th, and that's George Floyd's death. So
oh, May 25th, that happened on your birthday, son?
That's my birthday.
well, that's not gonna be on the website. So I just have that one down, but we're gonna go over that one. But yeah, so let's go to the chart that we had up.
Oh my God.
Okay, I gotta.
So those dates that I just mentioned, I'm gonna just go to some alignments that took place on those dates, so everybody can see what was going on.
Okay, we're going to the chart.
Hi, everybody. We're going to the chart.
Right.
All right. So the first, so everybody can see that we're on January. That's January. So if you can go down to January 20th, you don't, you just scroll down. The dates are right there on the left-hand side.
Dun, dun.
So if you look at the 20th,
yeah.
So you go across the screen there, and the first thing you got is the sun right there, which is in Capricorn. Then you have the moon in 0 degrees in Sagittarius. Then you got Mercury 5 degrees in Aquarius. Then you got Venus 7 degrees in Pisces. And then we go to the 20th on the next. Well, I'm sorry, we got Mars. Where's Mars? I can't see Mars. What does Mars say right there? In Sagittarius. What degree is that? I can't see it.
Oh, 11. This one right here?
Yeah, Mars in Sagittarius at 11, January 20th. Yeah. And then we go to Jupiter, which is 11 degrees Capricorn. Saturn is 23 degrees in Capricorn. And Pluto is 23 degrees in Capricorn. So now, remember, this was around when we saw the system tumbling. And this is, U.S. reports its first case of coronavirus. So remember when I was telling you guys about critical degrees in astrology? So we have 0 to 29 degrees. Anytime you see those degrees, you're going to pay attention throughout these alignments. Those are going to be key degrees to look at. If you look on the chart on that day, the sun was 29 degrees in Capricorn. 29.
This one, this line, yeah, and that right there.
The moon was 0 degrees in Sagittarius.
And yes, there. Yeah.
Right. And then if you look at Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, well, Saturn and Pluto was conjunct at 23. Saturn dealing with the authority, dealing with the government, Pluto dealing with death and transformation, and Capricorn dealing with the structure of the government. So that was that heavy conjunctions that that was basically the theme of why everything came tumbling down. Saturn and Pluto both at 23. And then you had Jupiter there, which expands and makes everything bigger than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And now if we go down to, let's go to February 7th. So you have to change the month to February. Okay. So now this is when we had the whistleblower. the Wuhan doctor. His name was Li Wenling. And then he was apprehended by authorities. He told everybody there was going to be a virus coming out. And then they apprehended him. And then they said he died from the virus, which a lot of people didn't believe because he was apprehended. So they thought they killed him. So if you look on that day, we had the moon in Cancer.
What date?
Right?
Again?
That was February 7th.
Right, sure. Okay, the moon, yes.
So the moon was in Cancer. Mercury was in Pisces. Venus was 29 in Pisces. And Mars, which is interesting, was in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius deals with truth and bluntness. And look at we still had that Jupiter, and we had the Saturn and Pluto conjunction. And Pluto dealing with death. And then we had Neptune in Pisces, which was confusion. And Mercury was also in Pisces too, which is our mind and the information. So people didn't really believe that. It was a lot of confusion. It was a lot of, delusion. That's what Neptune can do. Neptune causes like fog and confusion. So information may not even be clear. And then that Mars and Sagittarius was that truth that he spoke. Because Sagittarius deals with truth, and Mars is an energy that it's about force and drive. So anytime you have Mars, something just comes out like truth. So he spoke his truth that day. So you can see that energy mirroring that. And now if you go to February 29th, which is when we had the state of emergency in all states.
Down below.
Now that day we had the sun was 9 degrees in Pisces, the moon was in Taurus at 8. And we had Mercury in Pisces. Venus was in Aries. Mars was still in Capricorn, which is its exalted point when we spoke about exaltations. And then we had that Jupiter at 19, and Saturn was at that anaretic degree of 28, close to 29, and Pluto also in Capricorn. So right there, you saw that same energy of the system tumbling down, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. What else did we have? Oh yeah, Mars was at its exalted degree in Capricorn, and that was a state of an emergency. And anytime you see the Pisces energy, like Mercury and Pisces, it always deals with some type of ending or death. And you'll see that as we go through the dates. Anytime you see something like with death in numbers, you'll see a lot of Pisces.
Get a lot of death.
I forgot.
Now, March 9th. Let's go to March 9th.
Past my bedtime.
Now it's past my bedtime.
Now, this is when Italy placed 60 million of its residents in lockdown. Now, around that time, almost had a full moon in Virgo around that time, because Virgo deals with health and healing. The sun was in Pisces. So we was very concerned about our health around that time. That's Italy going under lockdown due to the virus. And then we still had that Mars in its exalted degree in Capricorn. And Mars is basically speeding up that heavy conjunction between Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, which you see there in Capricorn as well.
It's right.
And Uranus is at 4 degrees in Taurus also. So that's like a shakeup of our structure, which is what we're seeing go on this year with our money and our resources, which you're going to see take place later on in 2021. Now let's go to March 11th.
Right here.
And March 11th is the WHO declares outbreak, a pandemic.
The WHO.
The WHO.
World Health Organization.
Right, so you had the sun in Pisces, we got the moon in Libra, Mercury's in Aquarius, dealing with the collective mind. The minds was focused on everybody. Venus was in Taurus. Mars was still at its exalted point in Capricorn. adding that drive to that big conjunction you see there. And Venus and Uranus was conjunct in Taurus also. And Uranus always brings up unexpected things. Let's go to, and that's also when Trump did the travel ban. So if you look at Jupiter, Jupiter is 21 degrees in Capricorn. Jupiter deals with long distance travel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Mars, and you had Mars squaring that, which was in Capricorn. Well, conjuncting. Mars adding to that. That's the government. Capricorn dealing with authority figures. Trump was the authority figure. And then it's kind of like the death of travel, because if you look at Pluto, Pluto's at 24 in Cap. Pluto deals with death. Jupiter is, like I said, long distance travel, which is at 21. And you see that right there on the screen. So that's a close conjunction.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to March 21st. And remember that anaretic degree, 0 degrees Aries? Italy's first wave peaked 6,557 new cases. The moon was in Aquarius, dealing with the collective. And then we had Mars, Capricorn, conjunct Jupiter. Now, anytime you got Mars and Jupiter, and Pluto, because they're all conjunct. Pluto already dealing with death, Jupiter dealing with expansion. So that's like extreme numbers or lots of death and things like that. So you had that heavy energy there. Plus the Saturn at 29 degrees. Look at 29 Saturn in Capricorn. You had that anaretic degree of 29.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're dealing with these energies, you pay attention to the conjunctions and the degrees. Always, anytime, even when someone has 29 degrees in their natal chart, so if someone's a Libra, and Libra dealing with relationships, if somebody's 29 degrees Libra, that could mean they could attract critical relationships. Their relationships aren't steady, because 29 degrees is it's an ending degree. 0 degrees is a degree of initiation. Because it's a starting degree. Now let's go to March.
A reading from Odin.
So let me go to March 23rd, and that's when New York becomes the epicenter of the outbreak. And then right there you see, you see the sun is in Aries at 2, still that early degrees next to 0. Those, anything that's early 0 to 5 is something you need to pay attention to. Those are anaretic degrees. But on that day, you had the moon in Pisces conjunct Neptune. And around that time, people were still foggy around that energy. Nobody was believing the information that was coming out. That was when you saw people coming out on the media, putting out stuff, doctors coming out. Everybody was arguing. Nobody knew what to believe, if this virus was real, if it wasn't real. And then you had that Mars in Capricorn conjunct Pluto and Jupiter, all close conjunction, which is transformation and death of the structure. So this is that's the main thing. Those 3, Mars, well, mainly Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, those are the main 3 that's basically impacting 2020. And then if you look at Saturn moved 0 degrees into Aquarius on that day.
Starting again.
And now go to March 30th. And then you see Iran records new cases, 3,186 cases daily. Mars was 29 degrees in Capricorn. Again, that 29 degree. Conjunct Jupiter and Pluto, which is that major conjunction. Saturn in Aquarius at 0 degrees. And then also you had the moon in Gemini squaring Mercury. So again, that was the same thing we just spoke about people not agreeing with the information, people going back and forth, some people saying that this virus is real, it's not. And then now we go to March 31st. 1/3 of humanity's on lockdown.
Mm.
And that was Mars, 0 degree in Aquarius, dealing with the collective. Mars, the whole Aquarius is the collective. Conjunct Saturn, which is the government restrictions. Saturn was 0 degrees in Aquarius. See Mars and Saturn?
Mm.
1/3 of humanity in lockdown. Aquarius deals with humanitarianism. Saturn deals with restrictions. So now humanity's under lockdown. And then the last alignment is May 25th, and that was when George Floyd died. Now, that was a lot of heavy energy that day. So the moon was in 0 degrees, again, 0 degrees, May 25th, 0 degrees in Cancer. Venus was retrograde, and this is when we had the retrograde coming in. This was right before the riots took place. Venus was retrograde, conjunct Mercury in Gemini.
Mm.
Now, you see all that Gemini energy? Right there, you see how you see all that Gemini? Now, do me a favor, go to June real quick. When you go to June, you're going to see a whole bunch of Gemini energy. You see all that?
Gemini.
See all that Gemini?
Yeah.
That was right after the riots when people wanted their voices to be heard. That was right after George Floyd's death, when we had all that crazy rioting and people wanted to speak and everybody was arguing. We had Saturn went retrograde around that time, in Aquarius too. So, and when Saturn was in Aquarius, Rodney King got killed by the police, and we had riots there.
Oh my gosh.
And then this is Saturn in Aquarius retrograde, which is going back. And
What
George
day?
Floyd was killed. That was May 25th.
Mm.
So, but right now you're looking at June. But I just wanted you to see what happened after he died. You had a lot of that Cancer energy there. And
Oh,
then you had
yeah.
a lot of, because everybody was emotional. You see all that Cancer, and you see the Gemini, and you see the Pisces when I spoke about death and endings. And then you see the Jupiter and the Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, and Saturn's retrograde. And that's going back to the revolution. And that's when you saw everybody taken to the streets.
Yeah.
And then all that emotional energy you see right there on the screen with Cancer, all those dates. And that was when everybody in Gemini, everybody was being vocal. But yeah, that's basically all the alignments for now. But I was just giving you guys an idea of how these critical degree points and these major conjunctions can shift reality, especially when we're talking about Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto.
Mm.
And that's technically what we see now with this year. We're in 2021. And now we have a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that happened in Aquarius.
Well, I have a question that the people might be asking. The term conjunction, what defines a conjunction?
So remember when I speak about astrology, I talk about aspects. When I say the energy, it depends on how the energies are aspecting each other. Aspects are conjunctions, squares. When I say squares, in conjunctions, trines, sextiles. So a conjunction is when a new moon, like today. Today we're having a conjunction because it's a new moon. So when you have a full moon is when the sun and the moon are in opposite signs. They're in polar opposite signs. So if there's a full moon in Virgo, which is going to happen at the end of the month on the 28th, right? That's an opposition, which is an aspect. It's a 180-degree angle, which is called an opposition, right? So Virgo and Pisces are polar opposites. So that's 180 degrees. A conjunction is a new moon when you have the sun and the moon sitting in the same sign at the same degree. So that's a conjunction. When planets are conjunct, their energies blend together
Hmm.
and creates another energy. So if someone has their moon conjunct Uranus, which I see in people's charts that I do, these are people that have volatile emotions, like their emotions pop out of nowhere because Uranus deals with rebellion. These are also people who are very rebellious, and they don't like to conform to the norm when it comes to how they feel, and their emotions can just explode, like pop up out of nowhere. If it's aspecting in a bad way, like a square. A square is a 90-degree angle. 90 degrees is a challenging aspect. It's square. It's like squaring off. So when you have like Mars square Uranus, it's like the planets are fighting. And the energy becomes frustrated. So if someone has like their moon squaring Mars, this is someone who can't control their emotional anger. Because it's a square. They don't have control. It's like it's the energies are battling. So a conjunction is just the blending of the energies.
Okay. All right. Oh. And so, where did Hatu Mama go? Who knows?
Dipped out.
I'm
Okay.
here.
We're just top. Well, my
I'm
mom's
here.
tired.
I am T-Red.
Tired.
But this is so interesting.
Yeah, it is. Because I'm just thinking about how it's applicable to, everything else in the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
So
today's a conjunction, that new moon.
today's a
So the energy.
Okay, go ahead.
No, today's a conjunction, which is a new moon in Aquarius. So when you see a conjunction like that, a new moon, the energy becomes heightened because now you have the sun and the moon in one sign instead of a full moon, which is usually emotional because you having opposing energies. So people are in a push and pull within themselves. That's why it's emotion. A new moon is good for new beginnings because now you have the sun and the moon illuminating this one energy. So that's why they say set your intentions. Because the energies, it's illuminating. It's a lot of it. And right now, we don't just have the sun and moon in Aquarius. We got Jupiter. We have Mercury retrograde. We got Saturn in Aquarius, and that's when we said it's gonna feel like the age of Aquarius this year, but it's not. We just have a bunch of planets, which is called a stellium, sitting in one sign. But today is a new moon, so you set those intentions because the energy is potent.
Okay. Well, I've already seen some very I've started setting my intentions probably a week ago. So for a time such as this. So
Right.
yeah, and I really have had a lot of positive results from that, and I didn't even realize that. I was noticing. I was like, oh wow, this is different. This is nice. This is cool. But I didn't realize that I have been working my magic for a good week before this whole thing kicked off. So perfect time to set your intent. Is it too late? Is it too late to set your intentions?
No, new moon energy, full moon energies always last about 2 weeks. But I always say do your ritual the day of or by the next day.
Okay.
If you have a solar eclipse, you wait a few days before you do a ritual, or a lunar eclipse because the energy is usually too potent. So it's good to wait like 2 to 3 days after that day.
Okay. Right.
But I'll be doing my new moon rituals tonight.
Ashe.
So, I mean, can you, for people that have no idea what a new moon ritual is, what types of things should people be doing?
So for this energy, it depends on the sign it's in. So this is Aquarius. This is about liberation. This is about freedom. This is about individuality and your freedom of individual expression. And we have Mercury in Aquarius right now, so there's a lot of rebellious energy in the air, especially with relationships. Relationships are going back and reviewing things.
Of course.
And a lot of shocks popping up this month for people because we still have that Uranus and we have that square between Uranus and Saturn popping up. But this Aquarius deals with the future. So when you're setting your intentions under this new moon, you want to set intentions that have to do with your future, things that you want to do in the future, your individual expression, giving yourself a platform to show your truth.
Okay.
The opposite energy of Aquarius is Leo. Leo wants to showcase itself. It wants everybody to see it. It's about creativity. But if you have creativity, you need something to express that creativity. You need a platform for people to see your creativity. Aquarius deals with things like social media. It deals with the digital. It deals with like what we're doing right now on podcasts. So Aquarius is the archetype that offers Leo as its polar opposite. It offers Leo that platform to allow its creativity to be seen. So when you had the full moon in Leo, the last one we had, it was all about expressing your creativity or finding other creative outlets to feel good. And now we're in Aquarius. This is a new moon. So what new intentions can you set for the future? What new ideas? And these are out of the box ideas because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Mainly Saturn is its real ruler, but Uranus, it's its modern day ruler. And Uranus is all about that awakening and out of the box ideas. So that's what you want to focus on with this new moon.
So interesting. What I finally did was I built a website. Built a website. And yeah. So and I published it, but I need to put more things into the store and more pictures and all of that stuff. But yeah, I did that, and it really it felt really good because How To Mama, I make hair growth serum and deodorant, and bars, and conditioner, and curling twist cream and all that stuff. And so I just built the website. So okay.
And that's right there. That's the energy. Aquarius is that platform for that creativity. And that's exactly what you did. Aquarius deals with anything that deals with the computers or cameras. It's just like it's air. So anything that deals with communication. Like Gemini deals with things like this, like podcasts, but ideas. Aquarius is the futuristic ideas, the more out of the box thinking. Gemini is the curious ideas, like or everybody's opinions, or like, oh, okay, but I think this, I think that, I think this. Libra is the air that's about relating these ideas. Okay, well, how can this idea help you and at the same time benefit this person? So they're all air signs because they deal with the mind and thinking and communicating, but differently. Aquarius is fixed air. Gemini is mutable air. Libra is cardinal air. Cardinal is initiating. Libras initiate. So like when they say Libra is like balance, right? Libras will initiate that, try to keep balance. Like I find I have friends at work, or I see coworkers. If someone's a Libra, and I've seen this, like the Libra coworker always try to be the one mediating between problems. Like they don't want to be too much on this person's side, to make this person feel like, oh, you're taking this person's side. They try to keep a balance. Like, well, I see what you're saying, and I see. So this is that relating of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius is fixed air, so Aquarius is like that rebellious air of I got new ideas. I'm gonna do this way, my way. I'm sick of those old ideas that y'all always be going with that ain't doing shit right now for the world. It don't make no goddamn sense. We've been doing this for too long. It's time to awaken and do something different. That's Aquarius. Gemini is like, oh really? You that's what you think? I think this though. Okay, well she thinks that. Yeah, but if he said that, then that means this. But he could have. It's just all about like his thinking. It's like curious, like But it's also about mutable. If you think something, Gemini won't disagree. He'll try to see your point. Like, I understand, because it's mutable air. Mutable means adapting. Just like Virgo is mutable earth. Virgo's all about adapting. Because so Virgos and Gemini are the two signs, like you two, Virgo and Gemini. They're the
Like
two signs
us two.
that can adapt. Yeah,
Gemini.
you guys can adapt to your surroundings.
Yes. I have my little adapter here.
Mhm.
Asa's a Gemini too.
So you showed up there. How to, Mama? You got your
Right.
bookends.
We're just right. There we go. Right. We're just adapting all over the place.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. So now,
Oh,
now this is getting a
no.
little bit more personal because, like, I love it when you're on Odin. So, what is the difference between like a Virgo, because I'm Virgo, that's born in September versus August? Is there?
So there is a difference. So this is why I always tell people astrology. This is why people get confused. People always say, "Oh, he's a Virgo, but I'm a Virgo, but we not the same, or we're not going to be the same." So first thing you need to understand about each sign is each sign has 3 archetypes. So you have the first deacon, you have the second deacon, and then you have the third deacon, right? It could be a deacon 1 Virgo, then you have a deacon 2 Virgo, and then you have the deacon 3 Virgo. Now, the August Virgo, which comes August 23rd, which I believe it starts August 23rd.
Yes.
That's Deacon 1. The ending of August is Deacon 1, going into like all the way to probably September, maybe 9th.
Oh, okay.
Then you'll have maybe I'm not sure. It could be like September 5th.
Okay.
It might be, but the second Deacon Virgo would be September 10th to like September 20th. And then the last deacon would be the last degrees of Virgo.
Okay.
So these are 3 different Virgos. So the August Virgos, for me, in my experience, I find that the August Virgos could be a bit more bossy sometimes, or organized. They can be a little bit more organized because they're so close to the Leo constellation.
Okay.
So they probably have a little bit more fire because they're close to Leo's constellation. So they can come off a bit more fiery or a bit more orderly, like kingly.
Okay.
The September Virgos, I find them to be a bit more sloppy and all over the place. Not sloppy. I don't want to say sloppy. Sometimes I find them to be a bit chaotic and all over the place and have lots of anxiety, lots of nervous energy. That's how I find the September Virgos. But each deacon is different. The deacon 1 is basically the Virgo.
Surrounded.
Deacon 2 would be the I would say no, Deacon 1 would be the Taurus Virgo. The Deacon 2 would be like the more stable Virgo, because Taurus is the second is the first earth sign after Virgo. Is the next earth sign. And then you got the Capricorn for Deacon 3. So that the Deacon 3 Virgos are more they're more persistent and more goal oriented, more like Capricorns. They want to scale the heights. But each deacon is different, and that's for every sign. You got the even with Aries through Pisces.
That makes sense. I love it when you're on, Odin. I love it.
I love when
Okay,
you
does
guys
anybody
have
have
the show.
any questions for Odin? Is there anything that you may want to know according to the stars? You can do a moon reading for maybe one or two of you if you want that. We need the birthday.
Yeah, if you want somebody wants to know their moon sign, they just need the day and the year.
Day and year if you want to know your moon sign, okay? And then if you want a deeper reading, then you can go to Odin Constellations.
Or Odin Healer at yahoo.com.
Odin Constellations on Instagram or Odin Healer at yahoo.com. ODIN. Okay. Oh, I have a birthday for you. Let's see. 11/16/99.
11/16/99.
Yes.
11/16. Okay.
It's my little Scorpio. I tell you, a Scorpio will sting you, and they'll wait 10 years to do it. You cross a Scorpio?
Yeah, they don't forget.
Open.
That's that water sign.
Sleep with one eye open. Cross a Scorpio.
What's a Scorpio?
Your sister.
That's a Scorpio of my sister.
Yeah, so this is 1999, November 11th. I mean, November 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a double water baby. That's a Pisces moon.
Okay.
Pisces. So that's a very spiritual. That child will grow to be into spirituality in some way, because Scorpio deals with the occult and is already a naturally spiritual sign. Pisces is the sign of spirituality. But this person will be he or she will be very sensitive and will be sacrificing too, self-sacrificing. Hopefully not too much, which will make them seek revenge as a Scorpio, because that Pisces moon can make you care too much and people can take advantage of you sometimes. Angel Bay has a Pisces moon, I think. But those type of things can happen. And there can be like some type of spiritual connection to like your home life or your family, or even the mother, some type of spiritual connection to the mother. My sister has a Pisces moon and she's taking care of my mother now. So there can be like some type of spiritual, because the moon, it deals with your mother also, especially your moon sign. It shows the relation between you and your mom. And what this Pisces, sometimes Pisces moons, and as a Scorpio, this Pisces moons probably sometimes they don't have the mother in their life like that. Grandma could play more of a role, because for some reason Neptune, it has something to do with the grandmother. So the mother may not even be in the life sometimes, or may not be present in the life, or there can be problems with the mother. And then somebody else related to the mother can take on more of the role and help, like usually the grandmother. And Scorpio deals with, goes through dark things like that in their life. Scorpios deal with like early parent deaths, and they just go through dark experiences, which is why they're able to, they're all about transformation, because they experience dark and deep things. And then later on in life, as they get older, they transform themselves in some way. Some of them.
Pray they did. I was going to say they pray. You pray, yeah.
Some of them just stay in those deep waters. For a lot of them, they just stay deep, buried in their pain, and they try to keep secrets and seek revenge. That's the lower Scorpio. Because when we're talking about astrology signs, also you got to remember we got the higher and the lower, the higher self and the lower self.
Self and lower self.
That's why I say all Virgos. Like when we're talking about the Virgo archetype, there's the higher Virgo and then there's the lower Virgo. There's the higher Aries and the lower Aries. So I could say, oh, Aries is aggressive. Aries is an initiator. Aries likes a challenge. Aries is a fighter. But someone who is self, who has knowledge of self, and that's an Aries, they're not gonna come off like that. Maybe before, like they'll be like, yeah, back in the day, but they're not gonna be aggressive. They're gonna be firm, but they're not gonna be they're the wiser Aries. So they're not gonna use that aggression. They're wiser. You understand what I'm saying? They're self-conscious, so they can calculate their moves. I have a friend like that. I have a friend that's an Aries moon. You would think when he gets mad, he'll be ready to fight. Like I've seen Aries moons do that, act like childish, like ah! I know somebody's Aries moon, a dude that I know, he's childish because Aries is the child of the zodiac. So when someone has it is, that's why it's the first sign. Aries is the child of the zodiac. It's technically the youngest sign. That's why Aries are hot-headed, because they're like that kid that's like, you tell them don't touch that and they're like, no, I want to touch it. It's that Mars energy, like, no, I'm gonna do what I want. It's the youngest sign. So I know somebody that has an Aries moon that they're very like, when they get angry, they just act like they want to but then I have another friend who's spiritual. He's into spirituality. He doesn't act like that. He calculates his movements, but he's very persistent. You can see the Aries in him. When he wants to go after something, he does it, but he does it in a quiet way. He's not going to be forceful. So the energy is different. Depends on the person too.
Higher self and lower self. Circle 7, Quran.
Circle 7.
Yes, because conscious weakness exhibits a strong attitude.
Whoa.
And conscious strength exhibits a weak attitude. Thank you, Ms.
And that's why the zodiac, technically the zodiac represents our lower natures. That's why that's why you see animals, archetypes in the zodiac, because it's showing you the natural animalistic nature of the human being, the animalistic natures. And that's why when we talk about the lower self and the higher self, the lower self person, the lower Aries, the lower Aquarius, they naturally project these animalistic natures. But you can ascend past these energies. Like me, I don't have all the Aquarius traits that I used to have because I have ascended past that.
Okay.
I don't have all those traits no more. I used to, but now I don't. I don't at all. I've ascended past. I used to express, but now it's like I've done so much work that it's like doesn't affect me.
You're Odin healer. I mean, you're Odin healer. You have the patterns, the stars, the astrology down pat. So yeah, I could definitely see that. I need to get my astrology down pat. That's why I'm down with Odin healer.
And
Odin healer.
I'm also a healer. Asa the Moor healer.
Right, Asa the Moor. Asa is my Gemini who was sent to me. Where did you come from, Asa?
The moon.
He's been saying that his entire life.
Ashe.
Yeah. That. And I know he was right because he just got here. Like he's been saying that since he's like 3 years old. So
no way.
That he came from the moon, which he did because the moon is mother, right? Mother is the moon. But he told me that he chose me.
I mean, we all choose the womb.
Yes, no, right. But you're right. He's like, he chose me, and which I already knew that, but to hear him that he knew that because he just came here, then you know that he was telling me that he came from the moon.
Well, he's definitely an old soul, that part. So
he is an old soul, but he was sent here according to Sister Zodiacus. If you have a Gemini, they were sent to you to teach you to communicate. And I never ever thought that I had.
Well, you remember when I told you your midheaven's in Gemini?
Yes.
And then and I said that the midheaven represents, your true place in life. So maybe he's a Gemini, so you needed someone to teach you to voice things.
Yeah, I never thought that I had a problem communicating. But now that you say that, I think a lot of things that I just don't say a lot of times, just to like keep the peace, that I probably should say. I should let people know how I feel. But I mean, I grew up with the idea that everybody doesn't have to know how you feel.
Right.
That's reserved for like your family, like your close circle, and so
Right.
that I don't always like express myself. I'm like, it's like this is going nowhere. I'm not even going to waste my.
Well, that's
energy.
the difference. That's the Mercury difference between Virgo and Gemini anyway. That's why even though they're both Mercury ruled, Virgo's more calculating and practical with their words. So Virgos can think and practice like and say, "Oh, all right, I'm not gonna say nothing," because they analyze their surroundings. And if I say this, I know this is gonna happen. Gemini be like, "I don't give a fuck." Gemini's gonna say what they want to say, and sometimes that can get them in trouble. So that's
But
the
I
difference.
personally evolved to the point where, nah, she don't even do that no more. I takes to the pen and I write. So
Right.
that's it. I actually penned a piece about pain today, and I just be on point with my stuff that I do. But yeah, very interesting. And I had a lot of aha moments today. Let's just say that. And deep. Very, very deep.
Doggy.
Yeah.
Where do we
Well,
on?
today's a new moon, so
1 minute.
that's good. That's good.
I have my altar over there. I'm about to go to my altar when this is over with, and
I'm gonna go straight to
burn some
my
Palo Santo
locker.
for the ancestors, and put
Right.
some fruit on. I filled up the water. The ancestors have plenty of water.
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
I saw.
You saw it? Every was filled up to the top. Yeah, so I'm about to do a little ritual over there because I'm really liking what's happening for me in this right now. Like, I love the fact that I did this website. I did it on my own. I'm really an analog girl in the digital world, and I was able to. I don't even know how I was able to do it, but I did it.
What platform did you use?
GoDaddy.
Okay.
Oh, GoDaddy. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it could be something step by step, and I will. I'm so analog. I just don't get it. But I don't know. I was just, and it wasn't hard, and I was doing it and took my pictures, put it up, wrote about the product, all of that, and it was like, okay, yeah. So it's not completely done, but I just published it. I just went out, stepped out, and I was like, let me publish it. But yeah, howtomamahair.com. So if you go to howtomamahair.com, you can, see I have the shampoo bar there as well as the hair growth serum. So I have to put up deodorant, the twisting curl cream, the conditioner, all of that stuff. But I'm getting to it. I will continue working on that. So we're at 53 minutes. Mama is T-Red. Okay, that's about 5 octaves over tired. Okay. Yeah,
yeah, I heard that one. Yes,
I'm T-Red. Yeah, that's the other thing. So if you're like an octave above normal, I'm not even dealing with that. I'm not even talking to you, because I told you the last week how people were acting totally crazy around me, like they had a license, like you get a license to I don't know, be a nurse, an engineer, to drive. Like, people were talking to me like they had a license, like they were talking. So I was like, I had to get things in order. So I was like, you know what? Oh, you know what? You're an octave above normal. I got to talk to you later. I mean, I just know, like, oh no, you cannot be 1 octave above normal in your voice, because then I got to go. Right? And that worked out just fine. That is actually working beautifully.
I
That's
keep
what's
on
up.
running dogs.
Yeah,
but I
just
don't
not,
want
just not,
to.
you know, not accepting, not a return to sender.
Na, na, na.
You want to act crazy?
That part. Yes. Quickly.
Where? Over there.
Oh, no, 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 no,
Left
no, no.
that left. Yes.
Stop it, stop it, stop
So
it, stop it.
Asa, you know, I'm really too
My
ready.
doggy
So
died.
thank you so
Yes.
much for watching this show.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. If there's anything that you want to hear or see on our show,
How many baby
drop us a
dogs?
line at, where can they drop us a line, Angel? Because I'm too
Oh,
ready.
yes. That would be the email that I will post in the description box when
Okay.
that part.
Yes, drop a
I
line.
can't remember right now. I'm sorry. I got one too many floating through my head right now.
My brain is hardly working at this point, so I get it. And then if you want a deeper astrological reading, Odin, ODIN, Constellation
Mhm.
on IG, and Odin, ODIN, Healer at Yahoo. Okay, you can contact him. He'll do a much deeper, he'll go way deeper than your moon sign and show you how you should be moving in this universe
Right.
according
Right.
to
We're gonna look at strong points and weak points. And then I do moon readings to where you could look at where the next moon will be hitting you, whether it's a full moon or a new moon. I do synastry readings to where if you in a relationship and you want to see how it will affect you, how that person's energy will affect you before, ahead of time before you get deeper into it. I do that also. So yeah, just hit me up on my email or IG and we'll
And
talk.
he can give you a reading to show you how to work in your current relationship. Okay? How about that? I know there's so many of you out there that need that. Like, this person's acting totally crazy. I need some help. Odin can help you with that. No, you're awesome. Odin can help
How
you with
about
that.
Control Alt Delete?
How you supposed to be moving according to the stars? You know what? Maybe you love this person so much, but maybe you don't talk to them between the hours of 5 and 10 because I don't know, asteroids about to hit. Who knows? I have no idea, but Odin can help you with that.
Hit the earth.
Wait, would that be 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.?
Odin will clear it all up. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Leave a comment, and Angel at the end of the show will put the currency email in the description box. If you want to email us anything you might want to talk about, maybe you want to be a guest on the show. Odin comes.
She's breaking up. You're breaking up, Mama.
Breaking up.
My end, anyway. She's all frozen.
Not my end too. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'm frozen and I'm.
You're on the 5 right now on that red zone. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Peace and love.
Deuce.
Islam. Yes.
Islam.
All right.